planning your wedding, of course, it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. It's a huge day. You want to do it up just right. For some, that may mean the old-fashioned way of doing things, the hall, the family, the church. But for some, and increasing numbers of people, it means traveling to a destination that is absolutely beautiful and creating a truly unique experience. Destination weddings is what we're here to talk about with Rebecca Grinalls, and this is your area of expertise.
It is. I'm a lucky girl.
Yes. Now, why are so many couples choosing destination weddings now?
Well, I think as the culture has changed and couples look to do something that's much more a reflection of their personality and their passions, they're choosing to go away to some place that's really special for them, or somewhere they've never been that they've always wanted to kind of check out and share with family and friends. And often it is an encore wedding that may be a second or a third wedding that includes children, and they want to do something very different than they might have done the first time around.
And this is a really exciting and special way to actually incorporate the honeymoon into the wedding as well.
Absolutely. It's actually very cost effective too. Instead of doing a big hometown wedding where you're inviting a few hundred of your family and friends and coworkers, and really helps, that takes the budget out of control for some people. So when they go away and they do a destination wedding, they can really control the budget, maybe have 30 or 40 close family and friends come and include the honeymoon as well, so they get a lot of bang for the same wedding buck.
Now, when we're talking about planning the big home wedding, the other thing that comes into play is time, and I've seen people spend 2, even 3 years sometimes planning this huge party. What kind of timeline are people planning a destination wedding with?
Well, the great thing about a destination wedding is that it can be turned around very quickly. In fact, I hear from a lot of hotels and resorts that I work with that as quickly as 30 days.
Right.
Because it's a lot more relaxed and it's a little more simple and it's maybe more barefoot on the beach, as long as the paperwork and the legalities are taken care of, really you can turn it around very quickly. In fact, there's some destinations like the Cayman Islands where you can get married the same day that you're alive.
That's cool. That's a very cool
some
thing.
people even, we've seen some people do an impromptu, like for example, they're going on a cruise and they decide halfway through the cruise,
get married.
Let's do it. And so there are certainly destinations that lend themselves to a very quick turnaround, just a few days.
Beautiful. Now, when you do plan, I would expect that there would be wedding planners that are in place that are going to help you, because you're dealing with a place where you're not, it's not your residence, not where you're from.
Absolutely. There are a host of very qualified travel professionals who specialize in destination weddings, wedding planners who specialize in destination weddings. And what we find is that a lot of these destinations now, they've become highly trained.
Right.
So they are able to turn things around and handle everything long distance, and the internet has gone a long way to making those types of things easier.
It's interesting too that you brought that up, because there are some really neat things I want to get to, like really interesting trends and things that are making it not only special because you're going somewhere special, but special because of just special touches, and one was webcasting.
Yes, because even if you go away and take 40 or 50 of your family and friends, inevitably there's many that were left behind for whatever reason that they couldn't join you. And so, for example, there's a company called Our Cayman Wedding in the Cayman Islands that does live webcasting.
That is the greatest
thing. And so
thing.
the bride and groom, they literally can set it up with today's wireless technology, and they're capturing it as is. Not even an hour later. It's literally, people can log in, tune in from home, from work, wherever they are, and sort of still feel like they were there for the actual moment.
I think that is one of the coolest things I've heard in a long time. There's some other great interesting little tweaks that are happening now.
A lot of people are doing things, you know, we talked earlier about blending of family, instead of the traditional unity candle that you may see, which is, you know, but it doesn't always work on the beach or on a breezy at a mountain or something. So, for example, one of the things that's really neat is a unity sand ceremony.
That's nice.
That the couple, the bride and the groom, each take a scoop of sand and they pour it together, and sort of, it says the same things that a unity candle does, where you blend it and it can't be ever separated.
That's
so there's some things like that that are new trends and that are really perfect for destination weddings.
Can I ask about Trash the Dress?
Yes, Trash the Dress. And I believe you have some amazing video.
It
was shot by an Austin videographer named Joe Simon in the Cayman Islands. But this is probably one of the coolest and most lasting trends we're seeing come out of destination weddings, where couples are literally, after they take the plunge, they're literally taking the plunge.
That's so
and
funny.
They're jumping off the end of a dock, or they're, you know, running, you know, with wild abandon into the sea. And they're really getting creative. They're going places and they're getting on bikes, and they're going to abandoned houses, and they're getting and really, really creative. And it's just a really fun way to kind of let their hair down and sort of channel their inner fashion model, if you will.
That's so fun.
It's great because what it allows couples to do is to take advantage of the destination and really showcase it and sort of have a more playful side to the destination wedding.
And the pictures you're going to end up with.
They're
spectacular.
Stunning. You know, what I hear all the time is those are the bride and groom's favorite pictures because, of course, the stress is gone and they're just having fun and they're just so excited about starting their lives together. And it's not the posed family pictures that they feel like they have to have, but those sort of get stuck in an album somewhere, the trash, the dress, or the videos and the photos that they sort of really go back to time and time again.
Those are so much fun. Now, I had a list of interesting trends to look at and tweet of honor. I have no idea what that is.
Oh, well, Twitter, you know, Facebook and Twitter and all of these things have really taken over so much of our lives. And what a lot of couples are doing is, again, for those who weren't able to join them, they designate one person as their tweet of honor, and that person is sort of responsible for tweeting throughout the entire wedding weekend and sharing little snippets back with family and friends about what's happening. And it helps for them to have one person instead of just assuming that everybody might tweet. And sort of, you know, setting up with that person to make sure they have internet access and aren't incurring large cell phone bills or anything like that. But it's really fun because family and friends and even just other followers of theirs on Twitter can kind of feel like they're part of the day. So that's a trend, and we've seen grooms update their status in the middle of their ceremony on Facebook.
That's funny.
Going from engaged to married and stopping the ceremony. But that's the kind of stuff that's out there right now. So couples are really harnessing all of the social media, and you know, a lot of it, in many ways, it's where they met. So many couples have met online, they're sort of carrying that all the way through their wedding.
You know what I like too, though, is that everything these days is so serious and everything's so work-oriented and everything's so deadline. It's so fun to just let go a little bit and have some fun.
Absolutely, and I think really that's what at the heart of a destination wedding. Couples that choose it aren't taking the whole process as seriously. It doesn't mean that it's still not reverent and isn't
the
important
vows
to
are
them,
serious, all that's serious.
But they're choosing just to kind of be a lot more relaxed about it, and certainly honoring, you know, the tradition of marriage, but really choosing to have it be more of a fun sort of environment than a stressful one.
I would definitely think so. Now, for couples that are perhaps, I know a lot of people would have just gotten engaged over the holidays.
Engagement season.
And so maybe you're listening to us right now and thinking, you know, this is not a bad idea. What's the first step for a couple that's even contemplating a destination wedding?
Well, we always tell people to really sit down and determine if a destination wedding's for them, to look at how many guests, to say, are we willing to maybe not have everybody join us because either cost or traveling is not something they're able to do, or they have a lot of, you know, pregnant or whatever it is. So the fact that they just have to look at that and say, is it a destination wedding? There's an incredible amount of offers out there. And so for a lot of them, it's to narrow down where is the best place for them and not to overthink it, to sort of find somewhere that makes that you know, can add to their list and then match up and go online. But the great thing is that you can search for so much information or get with a travel professional who could sort of lead you in the right direction and shortcut the overwhelming amount of content that's out there.
And you mentioned the Cayman Islands a few times. This is one great location they may want to check out.
It is. It's one of my favorites. And one of the reasons is because it's really easy to get there. It's very family friendly. So for a lot of couples, as I mentioned, you know, they have guests that are ranging from 6 months to 65. And so some destinations aren't as friendly to that wide range. Some, you know, sometimes couples don't know that a hotel may be 3.5 hours away from the airport.
That's a big consideration.
Things that are really complicated or that may not have handicap accessibility or things like that. So one of the reasons I love the Cayman Islands for a wedding is that not only is it family friendly and with a wide variety of prices and accommodations, but this level of service providers, it's a very cosmopolitan island. So the level of service providers is on par with anywhere in a major city in Canada or in the United States. And so they're not compromising sort of their dream wedding because they're really working with top-notch professionals.
In a truly beautiful place to be.
In a beautiful
Which doesn't hurt anything.
Exactly. You cannot beat the color of this. That's a perfect something blue for your wedding, is the color of the sea.
There you are. So check it out. I want to thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
And we can get people online looking for more great ideas, can't we?
Absolutely. If they want more information on the Cayman Islands, there's a wonderful new site called caymanvows.ky, which really shortcuts a lot of the information for them.
Well, there you go. Let's check it out. And thank you so much for joining us today. And more on Real Life coming up in just a moment.